Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I wanted to start another series of games. For those of you that follow the channel, I have several games going on. Big factor for that is it's kind of whatever I'm in the mood to play. I like to play around. I don't want to sit and play the same game for 3 months to completion, but I like to complete the game, so I like to have multiples going. I don't have room to set up the game, so I use Vassal. Today we're going to be doing Panzer Blitz, and hopefully you can see that good. Yeah. So Panzer Blitz. This is probably the third game I ever had as a Ute. My cousin Vinny reference there. But Panzer Blitz, this isn't my original copy. I picked that up at a rummage sale for $5. That's why the $5 is written across it. Whoever had it just wrote the $5 on there. I don't know what happened to mine. I used to borrow games out to friends or different people, and they would had a couple games where people moved away or whatever. I lost, I think Panzer Blitz, and I think War of 1812 by Columbia Games I borrowed to somebody, and that never came back. Anyway, I've seen a bunch of people posting this on different Facebook groups, and I was thinking, I just turned 50 last year, and it's not like I got one foot in the grave. I'm planning on being around for at least 20, 25 more years. That's my hope, at least. But and I'd love to be gaming the whole time. But I started looking at my collection, and I was like, man, there's so many games here which I haven't touched for 30, 35 years. I mean, I got Panzer Blitz that's probably 11, 12 years old maybe. And I don't know about you guys. I mean, I like buying games. I like getting new games. I love the new games. A lot of the mechanics are awesome. The counters are awesome. The maps are brilliant. Panzer Blitz isn't a bad looking game for when it came out. I mean, the woods and stuff look nice on there. Now I know this is the Vassal version, but it looks pretty close. It just brings back a ton of memories. I don't know about you guys, but I was looking through it. You got the campaign analysis book. I mean, this is where I started to learn about history. This is where I remember opening this up, and I didn't know any of those vehicles. I was like, what are all these weird German vehicles? Where now I've learned so much through gaming, through wargaming, miniature gaming, hex encounter. There's just so much. I mean, it's a good little history. It's what sucked me into history. And I mean, I was into history before that, but wargaming, I've learned so much about history just from wargaming. Dates and times, names, places, important stuff like that. And I just got to thinking, you know what? I want to start playing some of these games, kind of a bucket list. I want to start playing some of these games that I haven't touched for a long time. So I thought what I would do is, so make sure I'm recording. I thought what I would do is just start playing some of those games. And I don't know if I'm going to play every situation on Panzer Blitz and record it. Maybe, maybe not. I did pick up Panzer Leader like 5 years ago, which I never had. And I like the Western Front. Eastern Front's always been a one that I liked and enjoyed, but the Western Front's so good too. And so I thought I'd play. Now, this is not a best tactics video. I don't even know if you could call this a how-to video on Panzer Blitz. But I'm just going to play it and enjoy it. You can enjoy it with me, and you can laugh at my stupidity or rejoice in my my great moves. I don't know if that's a little dramatic, but it's funny because I look, I got the situation card here, 1, right? And I'll read this before we start, but I was like, boy, there's not a lot of stuff on there, and there's only a few tanks and blah, 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 right? And I'm like, all right, well, we'll just play the 1. And then it's like a free-for-all setup. Like you basically had to put this command post here and this command post here, and the other one had to be anywhere else on a hilltop but at least 3 hexes away. Which reminds me, there's no reason for that one to be sitting there. I'm still kind of contemplating my German setup and what I may or may not do. So the whole point is, so I'm sitting here going, well, there's not a lot of stuff here. This should be pretty easy. And then I get this, look at this map, and the Russians are going to be able to come in on any side they want, and they get all this stuff here, right? And I'm like, holy smokes, I got no idea how to set up a good defense. Now, in fairness, I'm not a great planner. When I play in a war game, I'm a counterpuncher. That's my command style, my play style, the way I fight. So, like I had a friend of mine, whenever we'd miniature war game, he would set up his troops, and they'd be so brilliantly set up, it'd be like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can win this. He's got a great plan. He outfoxed me in the setup. But when I could win, and we were about 50-50, so we had a great matchup. We were very evenly matched. It was always fun. But when I did win, it was because he would make a mistake or leave an opening, and I would pounce on it. I was really good at that. I was really good at finding an opening and figuring out how to make a situation work to my best. So, for you that play this a lot, that are sitting there laughing at my setup, I wouldn't blame you. I don't know what to do. It's crazy. Like this gun here now pretty much controls this whole area, right? This 88 right here. He controls all this, but if they come from this way, he's not going to be part of the battle at all. He has 0 movement. He can't move. They gave me no trucks or nothing. I don't even have a wagon. I put another one down here to try to control, this area to this area. Now, when they get up on the hill here, I can fire. When you're on another hill, you can fire to another hill hex. I don't know. I put I had to set everything up on map 2. I'm assuming the defenses had to go there too. So I put obstructions so they couldn't use these trees and come down this road. Same with here. They'd have to come around the trees. Minefield here. I put a couple here. I kind of more or less am sacrificing this command post. And I didn't think of, when you're playing solo, obviously it's hard to outfox yourself, but I just tried to think of how could I defend everything a little bit. So what I want to do is I'm going to go out later because I don't want to, like when I play miniature wargaming, I don't like net listing. Net listing is you go out and find what tournament lists have been winning all the tournaments, and you go look that up and you copy that. I don't want to just copy another player. I want to learn myself and see what I would come up with, not just copy what another guy did. Now, I am fascinated when I get done with this. I got to go out and find out what did other people do for the setup on scenario 1, right? And learn from that, for the next scenario. But I won't look up the other scenarios because I like to learn. So anyway, here's where we are. I have a few things to set up first here. I got this turn record track I need to set up. So let's go grab some markers. It's 10 turns long, so we're going to go to there. And I thought I saw a turn marker somewhere. Oh, right there. Turn 1. So we got that set up. A lot of great markers. It looks like they got some modern versions, and like you could put this mine. I went with the original ones because I wanted the nostalgia of it. I just been like having a blast looking through some of my old games and thinking about playing those. And I would encourage you guys, if you haven't went to your shelf and looked up a game for a while and gave it some time, to go and do that. I'm going to move this up just so we can see the die roll only because I want to maximize the map. If you zoom out, that's a little too far out for me to play with my eyes, and you probably wouldn't be able to see much. And if you zoom in one more level, that's a little too close, and it gets actually kind of blurry. So the optimal level is this. And that's not being critical. God bless you guys that make these vassal modules that those of us can just enjoy the fruit of your labor. Thank you, all you guys. I've made one aide-de-camp module back in my day, and it wasn't that great. But it took me a long time, and so I can appreciate that. I've never done a vassal mod. I don't know if they're easier or not, but just God bless you guys that do it so that we can play, and the companies that provide vassal modules for their games. So guys like me that got a cat and I don't have a lot of room, and I got a family, so my wife doesn't want the kitchen table dominated with my war game all day long, all week, month long. And that's the thing. Like, I'm doing multiple games. I'm doing Walk Them Ride. Jeff from Hex to Hex and I are going to start Great Battles in the American Civil War. We're going to play through the whole Death Valley modules. We're going to start recording that this week, and I'll start posting them. I'm doing Lobosits with the Bar series, Battles of the Age of Reason. I like to have multiple things going because I see something on television, I see a book or something, and it puts me in the mood where, all right, I got to do some East Front battles, right? This was more just seeing everyone posting Panzer Blitz online on the different Facebook groups, and it's like, man, I have not touched that for 30, 35 years, and I am doing that. So, just check it. Hey, cat, quiet now. I don't know. Our cat's getting kind of weird. She's starting to howl. My son went off to boot camp. He's Marine boot camp. In fact, I got my phone on, so if that rings, I'm going to stop and I'll have to edit. He's starting the Crucible at 2 a.m. this tomorrow morning, so 4 a.m. our time. And I need this on because he gets to call me and make sure we got tickets. They opened up graduation for 2 people to come, so obviously his mom and my wife and I are going. And he's going to call today and confirm that, so I have this on in case he calls. Otherwise, I normally mute all my phone stuff so I don't get interrupted. So if I do, I apologize for that, but I will take that call because I miss him dearly. He's been gone since February 1st, and it's now April 26th. And we haven't had much contact, so other than letters, and he had a few phone calls while they did quarantine, because they did quarantine for 2 weeks because of COVID, so that added to the 13 weeks of boot camp. Anyway, super proud of my boy, and that'd be the only thing. The reason I don't like to edit is I think I'd have to reinstall the editing program, and I wasn't very good at it. I just like to record and go. I don't want to spend a ton of time editing and creating. Some of you guys do brilliant videos with great graphics and everything. I'd like to do that. I just barely have enough time to play stuff, right? So anyway, without further ado, let's go. This is going to be the German setup. We're going to go with this, no matter how dumb it is. We're going with that, and I'm going to start setting up the Russians. So let's move all these guys. I think what we're going to do with the Russians is we're going to come from the south. All right? We're going to look at this a little bit, but that's my thinking. So we got some tanks, some infantry. Clear these move. Whoever made this you got those movement things so you can see who moved where. I love that. And then you just clear them out when you're done, so you got a nice looking map. So if we come from this way, this guy would be easy pickings, and we could probably just about win the game with that. But we do have this 88, so I'm going to ignore that 88, and we'd have trouble with the gully, with the stream and the swamp and stuff. The north isn't very. We do have 3 guns here. This guy is kind of out of the picture, but these 2 guns kind of covering this road. We got the 88 can cover part of that, and then it's just this winding horribleness. It just seems like a lot of stuff. So my 2 options I thought of was here and here. And I don't like that this road is blocked. I don't like that at all. It seems like it would be some tough sledding because of all the woods here for my tanks. And you have to come in on the same hex, right? So I can't set my guys up in a wave from here to here and just start I can't show you my fingers, but I can't start moving in a wave like 5 across or 8 across and moving across, right? So I can't just start coming here, and here. I got to come in the same hex to start with. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go this way. I'm going to make a mad dash. Oh, there's an 88 here too, though. But it's only 188. This guy only has a range of 5. I can't tell what he is, and zooming in I don't think helps. It looks like a 50 millimeter gun. Just gets a little blurry for my eyes. I don't have my readers on. I think that's a 50 millimeter. No, he's only got a range of 5. We got this guy that can help, but you know, he's got a range of 10. But this crest will cause him some problems. He'll only be able to shoot out maybe to here, like, you know. So you got to put it roughly where it is. Wherever you put this thing is where it's going to draw the line of sight from, right? So you got to find about the middle. So he can go to about, well, he can cover that whole area pretty much from the stream until he starts getting to about here. So yeah, okay. So we do have 3 guns there. I just think this is going to take too long because I only have 10 turns. And if I need to get one of these command posts, so it's really tempting just to gobble this guy up and then try to kill a couple units on the edge, because I only need let me read the situation card before I get too far. I only need to get eight of them for a marginal victory. I mean, that wouldn't be like woo kick butt, but you know. So this is situation 1, Panzer Blitz, Russian rear area raid, White Russia, 744. During the massive Russian offensive of 1944, the Russian cavalry/tank groups did great damage among German rear area installations. This one covers an attack on the long lines and radio relay units of the 580th Signal Regiment, plus elements of the 286th Security Division and the 10th Flak Regiment. So the German forces you set up on number 2 board, which is the middle, and that represents the signal. The CP's units represent the signal elements. These must be in forts. 2 forts must be placed directly on the numbered hill hexes 129 and 132, which was this one and this one. And then the other one had to be at least 3 hexes away, at least 3 hexes from the nearest fort. So 1, 2. So that I took that as inclusive. But those are worth 5 units. If you can knock out a command post, that's like killing 5 units. And 8 units is a marginal victory, I think, for the Soviets. So if you get one of those in 3 units, life is good, right? You get the CP. The fort doesn't do anything. So if I got that, that'd be 7. I'd be 1 unit away from at least a marginal victory. That's super tempting. You know what I might do? I think I might come in on this road here. What's going to happen is I'm going to overwhelm these guys pretty easy. And as the defender, I thought about just taking 2 of these and putting them over here and saying, "Well, dudes, you're done." But you know, that didn't seem good. So probably should have, but if I come in, they all got to come in on the same hex. So they all got to come in on, if I come in on this one, I can overwhelm these guys pretty well, I think. Then I have to spend a whole lot of movement points, and I got this one fort I can go over. This would cause some slowing. This bridge is blocked. Terrain effects chart. Ford. So gully and stream beds. Apply movement factor cost to the accompanying terrain for entry movement alone. So it'll cost 3 to move. So it costs, you go in it like normal, and then it costs 3 plus 1, so 4 to move out of there. But I'd be staring down this guy and this guy. I think that's the best plan. I was going to come from the south, but I think that's the best plan. So let's get these guys over here. I think I'm going to do that. At first, I didn't think I'd want to, I didn't think I'd want to do that with all this stuff, but I think I'm going to take a shot because if I get all this stuff, I'm one away from the win. And let's try that. Okay, so let's get our guys loaded up. So I'm going to transport all my guns. These guys do have one movement, but that isn't very much. These guys are... Oh, I got a gun stack there. Okay, so let's stack these guns that don't have movement for sure. And then let's go ahead and load up these mortars. We're going to haul them. And then I got two dudes here. I'm going to let them be tank riders. So they go underneath because they're being transported technically, right? Okay. So we're going to clear that out. Now, the one thing I saw is the turn sequence. And I'm just going to take my time and go through this. I haven't played this forever. I was looking to see on the situation card if it said who moved first, and it doesn't. And the game procedure starts with the German player turn. Well, there's nothing on the board. So German player turn, we can do that error-free. So turn 1 for the Germans is over. Then we go to the Russian player turn, and here's how the turn sequence goes. The German player resolves any minefield attacks. No, none to do. German player announces which of his units will be attacking. Well, there's none on the board, so there will be no attacking. Then you would resolve all those attacks. You have to declare them all ahead of time. Then the German player moves as many face-up vehicle units as he desires, executing any overrun attacks as he does so. So the first thing I do is move my vehicles. It doesn't say if the cavalry are a vehicle. I'll have to go read the rules. I'm going to move them, though, as a non-vehicle because they do have the infantry for their weapon type. So I'm going to just consider them as infantry. All right, but these guys are all riding tanks and everything else being hauled. So I think what we're going to do... So my understanding on transports is you can move and unload, or you can load and move, but you can't do both. So let's do a little math here with these tank riders. Can we come running up with these SMGs and start attacking? Well, this guy has a big old defense of 40. So these are not going to be necessarily easy to smack because he's on a hilltop, which means all your attack factors are halved. Okay, so if we run up the road, it'd be 1, 2, 3, and then it's 3 for them to move in there. So they got plenty of movement to get up to here, here. What's the movement point cost for a hilltop? Oh, so once you're over the slope, you're okay. All right, so let's get these tank riders up. So let's go. So this is a hex. So 1, 2, 3, and then it costs. There's no zone of control in this game, so there's no like stop when you move next to the enemy. Let me make sure of that. I'm pretty sure I know there's no zone of control because I remember reading that. But yeah, there's no penalty, it says, when moving through enemy units or next to, or you can't move through them, but when moving next to them. So I'm going to move there, and then we're going to unload this guy. Okay. Oh, now here's the thing. So I'm used to games where you move and then attack. This one you have to attack and then move. The only exception would be is I could do a close assault attack. Oh, but you can't if you're transported. Yep. All right. So they're going to have to get in there and they're going to have to survive one turn. So we'll see how that works. Let's do this guy here. So he'll go 1, 2, 2.5. And let's go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 to there. And I'm thinking that guy could shoot you there. Well, he can certainly shoot him where he is now because he's on a hilltop. And Huh. Well, let's not do that. Let's let's go. Oh, come on now. Let's, instead of going there, let's go back to here. That was 1, 2, 2.5, 5.5, and unload. We're gonna have to get somebody on that hill. We might take a chance, and we'll bring up this. Oh, do I do that though? I gotta get more guys around. So this is actually defending a little better than I thought because of the hilltop. As long as it doesn't go through those green hex sides, my understanding is we're good. Now this would protect anyone here, but not sure how moving from here to here would work. So we got another tank still that we can bring on by itself. I'm also worried about stacking. Like if you stack a lot, you can wipe out a stack with one shot if you got enough firepower. So I don't want to like give them a lucky shot and then boom, you're dead. I think what I might do, I got these mortars where there's a mortar, so this guy moves a 1, 2. He can't really move into the woods because that's 2 movement points. So he's going to move there and he's going to unload the mortar. Because then he's got a range of 12 and they can spot and then he can fire. And let's move the other mortar. Where's he at? This one? No. This one? Yeah. So he's going to go half, 1.5, and the same thing. He's going to unload there. So we get some support for, because remember, we don't get to really attack this turn. We're just moving into attack. So the Germans are going to get one turn to attack us, which is interesting. Because I'm the kind of guy I can read the rules. I understand what they all say. I get it, blah, blah, blah. But until I start doing a turn or two, I don't know about you, but it does not register with me internally. So let's see. 3. So these slopes kind of slow everything down. Do they slow down infantry, or I thought it said slopes costs 4 movement factors for truck center, cost all other vehicles 3. So it's only vehicles that it affects. So they could go 1, 2, 3. So let's move this guy up there. And he's protected from the crest. So, and Soviets can stack 2. So we'll move another cav unit there. The number of Russians that don't die have nothing to do with victory. So, and you can move through your own units. So I'm thinking I might I'm not going to stack armor here because that would be bad. But I'm thinking I need to get up here and have it. I need to get this command post. So let's see, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I could get the T-34 over to here. And I can get this bad boy over to here. So we're going to do that. What do I got here? I got a 45mm anti-tank gun. And I got me I can't read what that is. But it's a high explosive gun, so it's artillery or anti-infantry gun. Let's bring this cav 1, 2. Let's get him in position in case we got some casualties. And he is safe from fire there, I believe. So we'll stack him. We won't worry about stacking there. And then we need to bring these guns up, which... Let's hide the pieces for a minute. Take a look at the terrain. So if I bring the one gun up... So if he goes 1, 2, 2.5, and then he unloads. Now, the interesting thing is I can't do that and unload him because then that would give me 4 guys in a hex. But when they're being hauled, they count as 1 unit. So this guy is going to come here. And if I'm there, he should be able to help fight. So he's going to unload. So basically, we're launching this attack on this command post, this signal station. And it's got a defense of 40, which is pretty robust. But that's all the stuff we can do. And we can't do any cat attacks, close assault tactics, because you can only move 1 hex and do that. So you can't come riding up on a vehicle, jump off, and be gunning everybody down. Can't do that. So that's it for the Russians. So turn record track. We're going turn 2. All right, so let's clear the movement. All right, so we got something fascinating going on here. And again, you veteran players, if I'm doing something wrong, just be nice about it. But please, correct me if I did something wrong, and I'll fix it as I play. This is more for fun. This is not an instructional or a best tactics video. I'm just having some fun and sharing my love of the hobby. All right, so we're turn 2. So we're back to the German player turns. The German player resolves any minefield attacks. There are none. Makes me think I wish I would have put something there to block that road, but whatever. German player announces which of his units are attacking which Russian units in the attack techniques, and then step 3 is you declare them all. So the command post doesn't have any attack or anything. Okay, we do have these guys here, and the 3 attacks you can do is I don't remember the exact names. I can read them here: selective, multiple, and combination. So selective is if you attack a stack, you pick the weakest dude in the stack, and you have. And you can be at 1 to 4 odds, and you're going to just attack them. So like when these guys are riding on the tanks, they only have a defense of 1. If the German or the Russian player would have left them on the tanks, I could have just shot them off the armor. But they didn't do that. So the next thing you can do is you can make multiple attacks, but I don't have any stacks attacking, right? And none of them are touching. But you could attack each unit in the stack one at a time. But you have to have at least 1 to 1 odds or better on each attack. And you start with the weakest one, I think. Then the other way is attack everyone as a group. So let's look at this here. So this guy is a defense of 9. That armor. The infantry has a defense of 12. Wow. That's pretty good. Those SMGs are way better than my engineers. Now, I could move this guy down here and still do a cat attack. So that would give me a 9, and I could attack the armor at 1 to 1, and I get a -2 on the die roll, and I get a shift in my favor because it's an infantry attacking with an engineer. The downside of that is then I'm stacked, and then if they attack me and they get to destroy. So let's look at the charts, for example. Combat results. If they get up to 2 to 1, they have a chance of destroying me. And if they get that and I'm stacked, everyone in the stack is dead. So we got T-34 and a T-34. So, and the close assault tactics you do after movement. All the other attacks you'd have to do. So I still have this guy too. So I should be figuring this stuff out. Let's go check line of sight. So that blocks because of the orange. And this blocks because of the, right here, the brown blocks if it's closer to the lower target. So it's blocked twice. It's blocked by this one and this one. So they're safe. And this one is blocked by the heel. This one is blocked because if you hit a corner, the defender gets the benefit of that corner. So technically the trees are blocking. So I can't get to that. That would have been nice to get another shot. This guy is way too short. This guy certainly isn't going to be able to fire through there. But we do have this bad boy here. And he can fire at this guy. We should make sure we're right in the middle. This one doesn't snap to the middle, so you got to kind of pick. And he can shoot at this guy because units don't block. and the woods only block if I hit this green bar. So I think he's going to shoot at him because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 9 hexes away, so he still gets his full 20. And then I think what we might do is jump these engineers up here and hit that armor, and then we can move away from this tank who can't go through the trees at me. So that's what I think we're going to do. So this cat attack, I'm going to do a cat attack with these guys, but that happens after movement and all the other attacks, right? So the only attack I have is this shooting, because none of these guys can do anything. Oh, you know what? Oh, I should not get too crazy. I didn't even think of this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 hexes. I guess you can let go and it tells you. I did not even think of that. Now, it looks like he might be safe from the slopes. Yeah, because it's going to clip those slopes. But but I didn't even think of that. So, I mean, that was... Oh, no. He's not on a hill, and so these block. So that blocked. Can this guy shoot? Well, he can. No, he can't because of the trees. All right. I'm sorry. But this, you got to be careful and you got to look at every little thing. So, again, I don't know if I said this earlier, but I was reading this and I'm like, well, that's not a lot of stuff on there. But let's just start with number 1 just because it just seems like the right thing to do. And then when I had to figure out my defense, it was like, wow, there's a lot going on. I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, okay, well, just slow your roll there, player, because you were acting like this is going to be some little weenie scenario that isn't worth your time and effort. And it's got plenty going on for a noob like you. Okay, so back to the game. So we have to do movement stuff first, though. No, we do fighting first. Yeah. All right, so I picked all my... So this guy is going to fire at this tank because we're going to do our close assault attack here after movement. All right, so we already counted it, but just for completeness, we go there. It's 9 hexes, right? So that's... Unless you go to... This guy can fire 10 hexes at full strength. So it's 20 to 9. And then what you do with that... Oh, I don't want to open my email. I want to open my email. Go away, email. We want the calculator. So just, divide that and you get 2.22 to 1. And that rounds in favor of the defender to 2 to 1. So we're at 2 to 1 odds. You know what, though? That's not right because I have to look at terrain effects, which this is going to cut me in half, I think. Yep, attacker is halved, so he's actually only a 10 to 9, so it's going to be 1 to 1. And then is there any other problems? Let's look at weapon effectiveness. I am an armor piercing. Wait. So it's double attack factor at half range or less against armored vehicles. So that cancels it. So I double to I didn't even think about the double. So I would double to a 40, and then that cuts me in half back to 20. So we still got the 2 to 1. So lots to learn. Don't get ahead of yourself, Steve. It's nice too. Whoever made this, they put all these situation charts in here. So that's pretty nice of them. Pretty cool. Oh, you know what I could have done? Let's do this. I want to do this. Oh, you can't put them on there. Okay, so I guess they're just pictures. Go grab a marker. Can't you? Did I do that wrong? Nope, you can't put them on there. Oh, why is it disappearing now? There we go. Okay. Did I put them on the... Oh, but they go on the map. There's no right-click shortcuts here, so once they're on there to stay. Let's do this, and we'll just throw them in here. Bonk. Bonk. Okay. So, there is right-clicks on these, just not the turn. Let's see what the shortcut markers are, just for fun. Movement trail, text label, invisible, flip. Oh, you can flip them for when they're... okay, so when they're dispersed. I was wondering about that. You can move them to the graveyard. You can rotate right or left. Fired. Oh, I like that. Okay. So in a bigger game, you can keep track. Oh, there's dispersed. So they have dispersed. Clone it. Delete it. All right, cool. Nice to know. Okay, so we're going to fire him. We won't need to mark him fired because he's... Okay, so we're at 2-1. It's going to be a straight up die roll. If we get a 1, we're going to be thrilled. We get a 1. Holy moly, we knocked him out. So to the graveyard. Does that work? It works. It put him right there in the graveyard. Yowzer. I'm going to move it up here. All right. We got to put a wreck vehicle. That was one of my things I loved as a kid. Was these wreck vehicles, right? We want a marker. I just, when you start seeing where the battle's been happening and stuff's getting destroyed and blah blah blah. That was a big one. The Germans need every shot to count, or they're just going to get overwhelmed. Okay, so that's the end of that. We did our shot. We declared all our attacks, so we're going to keep going on. German moves as many face-up vehicle units. We don't have that. Then I would move non-vehicle units that can move. So before I get too ahead of myself, this guy is way out of the picture. And so he's going to move this way to start making his way towards the fight. This guy is going to move as well. This engineer is going to move. This guy is going to move, and he might as well go in the command post. Let's just hope I don't outfox myself and forget. And then this guy is going to come up here. So we moved all the guys. All these guys with zeros cannot move. And we'll use the fired when we start firing guys that can move too, because they can't move if they fired. All right, so now this engineer, he's going to whip up here. And then we're all done moving. So then we declare our close assault attack. Now the close assault attack does some benefits to us. It gives us a -2 on the die roll. And then with the engineer, and I'm just going to double check that, make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself, but the engineer should give us a column shift in our favor. So they take place after all movement, normal attacking, and overrun attacks are finished. You cannot make a normal attack and then cat attack. Close assaulting units have their effectiveness increased by subtracting 2 from the die roll. The defending stack must be treated as one combined defense. You can't use a cat attack to pick off one unit, which I kind of knew that, but we're just stating it. If infantry and engineer units are stacked together, assaulting the same defender, the effectiveness of the close assault is further increased by raising the odds in their favor to the next highest ratio. As in the overrun rule, at least one engineer unit must be stacked with at least one infantry unit or cavalry unit. So you have to be stacked. You can't attack from different hexes, which would be nice because then you could attack and not be stacked, because I really don't like having stacked vulnerability is what I would call that. But it is what it is. Does it negate anything? Half-tracks can't do it, which we don't have any, and Russian cavalry can only move 1 and still do it. It doesn't say that it ignores terrain or anything. Yeah, it doesn't say it ignores terrain or anything. So I think all the rules still apply for terrain and all that stuff. So that's going to not be as great as I thought, because I thought we'd get the 6 and the 3. Let me just make sure, and I thought I read that. So close assault tactics instead of making normal. Got to be directly adjacent. After all more, we read that. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about ignoring terrain, so that's not going to be as gravy as we thought, but that's fine. Let's figure it all out. So we're infantry weapons, so let's go find our charts. The terrain effects, he's on a slope, right? So the slope, the attacker's attack value is halved. And weapon effectiveness. Well, it doesn't say they get halved. I thought they were going to get halved twice. So we're a 9. So we're a 4.5 against his 9. So that should be 1 to 2, right? So you take 9 divided by 4.5, which is 2 exactly. So we're at 1 to 2. So we go to our chart, and we're starting out at 1 to 2, but then it moves up to 1 to 1 because we have the engineer. So this is our best chance. We would have gotten hosed down here. Plus, we can move away, from these armor units that won't be able to. The woods will help us. So let's see what happens. So we need a 1, 2, or a 3 for anything to happen. And we get a 3. So he's dispersed. Okay, so basically he can't do anything next turn. But that'll come off. Now, if we would have got a 1, that would have... Oh, no. My bad. We also get a -2, so it's a DD. Special dispersal. The defending unit has already been dispersed and it's eliminated. If not already dispersed, it's simply dispersed. Okay. I guess that would have happened if somebody would have fired at him and then he would have got close assaulted. But that's fine. We did knock out a tank. Super thrilled with that. That is the end of the German turn. So we're going to clear all of our moves. So we got a nice looking map. How are we doing on time? We're at 47. So I think we're going to play another turn or two, and I'll probably be able to wrap up this scenario in the next video I do on it. But it has been a good time. I really just enjoy it. It's just, memory lane. I really wouldn't mind doing some of these older games with a camera. I got to get set up for that because, I love moving the pieces around and stuff like that, and that really makes it nostalgic. But this is easier for showing you guys and playing. And I got to get the basement finished remodel. We got to paint and everything. We got the flooring all done. We just got to paint. So, okay, so let's go to the Russians. So I want to read the game procedure. No minefield attacks. So then we have to declare all attacks and then execute them. These guys can't attack. He can't attack. He's dispersed. So we have these guys and we have our ranged help. Now, let's hide the pieces. So there's no brown ridge lines here to worry about. So all these guys have line of sight. So we have this, and then these guys don't have to worry about line of sight. Oh, how does that work though? I don't know if this guy can fire. There was a rule about spotting, of being able to see the target. Oh, spotting. Had to flip it over. When a defender is in a woods or town hex, okay, so woods or towns, so they can't help spot over the, so that mortar's in a bad place. We're not using, there is optional rules for mortar fire. I wanted to stay away from the optional rules as much as possible. I just wanted to play the original. So this guy can't, but he can. because it just seems dumb that a mortar wouldn't be able to do stuff. So I think we're going to look at the indirect fire. Oh, only CP units can do that. So those guys cannot fire, so that kind of, I put them in a dumb spot. Okay, so anyway, everybody else here can. These four, this one, this one, this one, and this one are all going to be involved in the attack. Obviously, the carts aren't. And because of the hilltop, it's going to be, boy, do we just want to like, it wouldn't benefit us to close assault attack because we only get the infantry for that. All right, so let's look at how that works. So here we have 20, here we have 20, and then we have another 10. So 20, 40, 50. But that gets cut in half because he's on a slope. And fortifications. What kind of target are they? They're treated as an armored target. So these guys would actually get halved again, I believe. So let's look at weapon effectiveness. Oh. All right, these guys are a little tougher than I thought. They can only close assault because they're treated like an armored target. So if we did that, we'd have 16 to turn into an 8. It's so bad. Well, unless I'm just not understanding it, these things are tougher than I thought. So we'd be at 1 to 4, which I think you can. It would just go to 1 to 4. We could at best get it to disperse. How do you destroy a fortification? They suffer dispersal, in which case the unit's occupying it, so they still suffer dispersal like everybody else. So one thing I could do, I guess, is I can close assault attack it after firing with all the tanks and the guns. So I'm going to have to whip these cavalry units around there and just really have to wail into this. This thing is like going to take everything I got because it's sitting on a hilltop. That's how I'm reading it. So not as easy as I thought if I'm doing this right. So let's see how we'd have to do this. So basically what we'd do is we'd fire... Oh, but you know what? Armored, and they're at half range or less. These tanks are going to double. And this guy is going to double. This guy is a high explosive, so it is normal. Oh no, he's only got a range of 3. Eee. What a crummy gun. So he's gonna be half. Okay, so what we're gonna do then is we're gonna fire our T-34s, and we're gonna fire our 45 mil gun and this howitzer here, or whatever it is, this artillery piece. Then we're gonna close assault attack with the infantry. Now, this would have been a lot easier if they wouldn't have knocked out my gun and dispersed this guy. So this didn't seem like it did a lot, but it really did. It's saving me 12 attack factors, which would probably knock this baby out. So, just having a good time. Okay, so here we go. Let's do that. We declared all our attacks. Now we do them, except the close assault attacks will go after. But I can only move. Oh, yeah. So we got these cav here. The wreck is going to make it so we can only bring one, but we could move one. As long as he moves one, he can get involved with his 10 factors on the close assault. So even if we don't knock this baby out with the tanks, we can get those dispersals and maybe get the DD, and boom, he's dead. So let's see what happens. You know, this is the weird part of solo play. I was rooting for the Germans on their attack, got to hold them Russians back, and now I'm rooting for the Russians to knock out this command post. So it's a very, I don't know, multi-personality feeling. Kind of weird. All right, so that's what we're going to do. And then these guys will have to move and get into position for the next turn. Yeah, that was a disaster. I blew that. Unless I'm not understanding how that works. I just thought the Russians were going to run over everything, but this turned out a lot more tactical than I thought. Okay, so the tanks. So he's a 12. He's a 12. So that's going to double to 24. This guy would just be you round down? I think you round down. Round off to the nearest hole. Oh, that's half range. So is doesn't say. Well, we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it as an exact half. So that's 3.5. So let's add these up. All right. So we got 24 plus 24 for each tank because they're firing at an armored target. Now he's firing at more than half range. So it's his normal attack value. So 3. Oops. Yeah. Plus 3. And then this guy, he's firing at regular range, but he's a high explosive, so he gets 3. Oh. So it's 48 plus 6, basically. So 54. Now, what else do we lose? Now we're on a hilltop. So that's going to take away 12 and 12, so minus 24. And then minus 3.5 and 1.5 because of the hilltop. So minus 3.5 and minus 1.5. It ends up with 25 to 40. So 40 divided by 25, that's going to give us 1.6. So we have to fall back to the 1.2. So we need a 1 or a 2 to disperse them. We get a 2. So they don't have an option on the menu that he's dispersed. Do we have one on here? I don't see it dispersed. So we'll just have to remember that he's dispersed underneath. I don't really like that. A little bit of a hiccup there, but that's fine. Okay, so that's the end of that. Now we could move. Oh, and this is where it'd be helpful to. This might seem like overkill, but I'm trying to develop good habits. So they all fired. So as we start moving around, now we can move vehicles. So if we look around, we have no vehicles that can move. Well, I guess we could load these guys up and move. Oh boy. What are they going to do? Get up on this hill and get shot? Because this guy can fire at that hill. Well, during movement, the hill does not, or you can overstack during movement. So we're going to load these dudes up. right? And then we're going to move them over to here. So they'll... Oh, let's get rid of these guys. So let's go... Let's move him to there, and then move this guy to there. Oops. Let's undo that. I just want to move the cart. Because now we can't move and unload there, though. So that's an interesting mechanic that you can't move and unload two guns into the same hex, because as soon as you do, you'd be illegally stacked with 3. So it doesn't really pay for me to move these guys. That's interesting. Well, I know I can put one here. And these guys, well, maybe we could shift around a little bit. And these guys have a better defense. So they can still move one and attack. So let's do that. So I'm going to, let's see, if I move him in there, that's 1, 2. Nope, he can't do it. He's going to have to move onto the road. I wanted to move him onto the slope, but the slope is going to cost this guy 4. That's going to take forever because he's going to have to move next to it, then move onto it. Oh, whatever. It is what it is. I'm certainly not swinging him around the hill where the 88 can plunk him off. All right, so what do we want to do here? Do we want to move the cab up here? I like this guy with his 12, so let's move him to there. And then let's... Oh, yeah, these guys can only move 1 and still attack. So let's move this guy up here on the wreck. And then let's move 1 here and 1 here. I guess we can't get everybody involved. I mean, we could move these guys regular. 1, 2, no, we can't move. So this 88's doing more protection than I thought. I think we'll just move these guys this way. We'll go here and then here. So that we can be ready with casualties to fill that in. But now we get to do our cat attack. And we don't have any engineers, so we don't get the column shift, but we get the -2 die roll. So that's going to be all our movement, because we moved all our vehicles, then we moved all our non-vehicles. So let's do our cat attack. So basically, you still get the hills and the benefits and stuff of the hilltop, right? I suppose it represents that it's continuing to go up, but whatever. I just want to make sure I'm playing it right. I don't want to sound critical against the system. But let's look at the charts, because that seems to kind of help. So because the hilltop attackers attack factor is halved, it doesn't give any exceptions really. So we have 1 here, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So it's all the guys on the top. So we basically have, and then and then we're going to get halved because of... Oh, no, it doesn't have. It just says they can only close assault. Okay, I always feel like they're going to get halved again. And I'm like, oh, man. So we got 16 and 20, so 36. Gets cut in half to 18. He's a 40. So if we divide the 40 by 18, that gives us... We're not quite to 1.2, so it goes backwards toward 1 to 3, but we get a -2 on the die roll because it's a close assault. What we need is we need a 1, because then we get the special DD. Otherwise, a regular dispersal doesn't do anything. So here we go. We got a 2. Dang. So close. And now they're going to be targets. All right, so that would be the end of that. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything at the end of the procedure. So Turns all units face up. So basically you would undisperse your guys that were dispersed and take off all the fired markers. If anybody updates this ever, the clear fire would be a nice button to add. So just making sure nobody has any special conditions. All right, so that'd be turn 2, and we're overwhelming this signal station. He is dispersed, which isn't really going to matter because he can't fire or do anything anyway, so I'm just going to do this so I don't forget. And we are on to turn 3. And I think I'll do one more turn, and then the next time I play this, I won't have all the intro stuff, and I can probably finish it. But there's a lot more going on here than I initially thought, which is pretty fun, actually. Pretty exciting. So let's figure this out. So, German player minefield attacks, we don't have any. So now I have to announce all my attacks. And these guys might be a little bit vulnerable now, more than I thought. Would have been nice to get these other 2 cav, which we can on there, but if we lose anybody, that's going to change it. So let's check. I can't remember. He's safe because of this right here. He's not on the hilltop. These guys are safe because of the tree, so he could fire at this. So we'll probably do that because, you know, any chance. These guys can't do anything. What do we want to do with them? They have 9 factors. So we're probably going to, instead of shooting at that guy, we're going to want a close assault tactic to that guy. Right? So we're going to do a close assault attack here. So I might use... these might be good for numbering attacks. No, I don't want to do that. Now, let's see if we have some options over here, because I was looking at this, and if he has a chance, I think that's line of sight, because the hilltops don't block him, and it doesn't hit that green. So he could fire at that guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy took the line of sight off thing. Guess I don't quite understand how that works. This guy's blocked because of the green. And there he's blocked because of those ridges. So, and this guy's, you know, that ridge line blocks him. So he can just fire to that. None of these other guys are going to certainly have range, and the trees there block him. So that's probably not the greatest place to put a anti-tank on, because I basically give myself a range, you know, kind of like this. So, but whatever, it is what it is. Live and learn. All right, so we're going to fire this guy at him, this guy at him, and then we're going to close assault. Oh, that seems kind of juicy to want to hit that guy. But I don't think we can do a lot. What does terrain do for woods? Woods. Add 1 to the attacker die roll. So we'd still get a -1, and we're going to have... He's at 12, so we're going to be at 1 to 2 odds with our 9. I don't think it doubles if you're... It's just normal. So what would this be? This would be what did I say was that? That would be a 1 to 2. Oh, we have the engineer, so that's going to shift us 1. Right, so it's going to be 1 to 2. We'll shift up to 1 to 1, and we'll have a -1. So we can't kill him, but we could disperse him basically, and if the gunfire does anything, but we got to declare it now. This right here slope cuts it in half. So that would make it a 9. It'd be a 4.5. So it's going to be 1 to 2. Well, it's going to end up being the same. 1 to 2 with a shift to the right. Oh, if we could take out armor, that would be so sweet. I think. I'm thinking the armor is my biggest enemy. Yeah, so they're both 1 to 2. Oh, but that doesn't minus. Then I'd have a -2 on the die roll, so that actually is better for me. So we'll close assault this guy. So if I did that right, we'll walk through it. That's my quick figure on it. We'll see if we can do that. So we're cat attacking here after movement. We're firing. So let's do our firing now, because now we have to declare our shots. I'm firing at this guy over here, which is going to be a -1. So let's look at the charts, because I don't have them memorized. So, what do you do if you're halved? What happens if you're in a woods and on a hilltop? Does it combine? Let's look at the terrain effects chart. I don't think there's anything on here. This is all. It's a good question. Let's look at normal attacking. That's overrun. I mean that's close assault. That's weapons effectiveness. That's all line of sight on there. I don't know if you guys remember this big thing. It's like opening up a newspaper. So first you're supposed to do the weapon to target effect, then do the terrain effect. It says terrain effects. Oh, here's the example. They use wooded hilltop. So at ground level attack, 1 Russian recon, 4 defending in a wooded hilltop hex against the 16. So you have it to 8, and then have it again as 4. Yeah, so the woods are going to add to that. They're going to, okay, cool. So at least they gave that good example. Oops, I want to leave this on the, I just don't know if my little booklet here is going to survive all this flipping around. Okay, so that it is what it is. But we might as well take a chance. We got one guy there. Okay, so back to my charts that I closed. So the first thing we want to do is we got to check the range. I'm pretty sure I was within range, and we know it's going to be more than half. So 15, right? Okay, so it's gonna cut it in half. So he's going to be a 10. 10 to 12. Well, this isn't looking as juicy as I thought, but that's fine. He is armor piercing, so that's going to half it again. So now he's a 5. So this probably doesn't matter. Well, let's see, because it's a 5, and then the terrain effects chart would make it a 2.5. I'm pretty sure that if you're worse than 1 to 4, I better check that you still roll on the 1 to 4. It doesn't say under there, so we'll just assume that you just roll on the worst one. So there's always a chance. So that's going to be on the 1 to 4 with a -1. Can we even do anything? Or a +1? No, we can't do anything. So that was a wasted fire. And we would mark them fired. Oops. Fired. Not sure why you'd rotate them in this game, but whatever. All right, this one over here, this one's a little more exciting. So we got our line of sight tracker. We're going to fire at this bad boy here. So he's doubled to a 40, but then he's cut in half because of the slope back to a 20, and he's a 9. So let's go double check our work to make sure. So the first thing we do is weapon effectiveness, double attacking if you're anti-tank or armor against armor, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8. 8. So that would double it to 40. Then the terrain effects chart would cut it in half to 20. There's no other modifiers. It's 9 to 20, so that's 2 to 1. So we're right here. So we got a chance to knock them out. Oh, we get the 6. We get absolutely nothing. Okay, well, we already declared that our close assault attack would be here, but first we get to do movement. We'd move vehicles first. We don't have any vehicles to move. So now we can move non-vehicles. Oh, we got a road here. Why didn't I do that? Should have moved up there, dork. So that guy over there, this guy is going to go up the road here. This guy is going to get into the woods for protection. He's going to keep coming across here. What would that guy do? So I'm kind of worried about the stack thing. Now the slope is, you still get some good benefits of the slope, so I'm going to move up here, so if they do overrun this and start coming this way, he can be around here to help cat attack any guns that get under fire. Okay, so we're done there. These guys aren't going to move. I guess technically they could move to here and then cat attack to there. Would that benefit them? I don't think so. I think the woods, they get the benefit right now of a +1 on the die roll. So we'll leave them there. So we got 9 attacking 9. Oh. But he's on a slope, so that cuts this in half to, okay. I gotta slow my roll here and do this right. So it's 9 factors. The first thing you do is weapon effectiveness. We know that it doesn't half it, even though in my mind it seems to want to half it. But you have to cat attack to even attack. So we got 9 to 9. And then the terrain effects chart, the slope is going to cut me in half. So it's 4.5 to 9, which puts us on the 1 to 2 column. But we have an engineer, so that bumps us to 1 to 1. And we get a -2 on the die roll for a cat attack. So that's a 0. So that's a DD. Oh, if you would have done your job and dispersed them, we could have killed him. But he gets dispersed again, which is going to cause some problems. We're one way from killing him, which would start getting pretty devastating, I think, on the Russians. So I'm going to start a log file, just because then I will have a record of moves at the end, because I like to put little notes on where I left off. Okay, so that would be it. We would flip anyone who was dispersed. They were not, so we clear movement, and we go back to the Russians. So no minefield attacks, so we go right into declaring attacks. I still think we got to try to get this guy on a dispersal. I wish I remembered all those stats from last time, but I think we're going to just hit him and try to disperse him, and then we're going to try to move more guys into cat attack if we can. We can get one more guy. Oh, I guess we could shift over one and shift. Yeah. So we're gonna keep surrounding him and try to knock him out, because that's worth 5 5 points. So I think that's the best bet. And I think our vehicles are going to just fire. And these guys are going to wait to cat attack. And these guys will get to move. So basically, none of these guys are doing much but firing and cat attacking, and we'll have some movement. So anyway, so declare our combat. So we're going to fire the gun, the tank under here, the tank under here, the gun here, and the gun here at that. Then we're going to declare, I don't think you declare your cat attacks until you're done moving, but I'm declaring them anyway that these guys are moving to cat attack and surrounding, and we're all going to gang up on him. So we're going to do that. So we've done all that. So now we would do our tank fire because cat attacks don't happen until after movement. So we got 12 and 12, which, remember, those are going to double, right? So 48, I think it ended up being 25. So 48, and this guy would double to a 14. And this guy would just be a 1.5. No, he's at normal. He's at less than half range, so 3. So 65. Man, that number doesn't look like I did that right last time. All right, and then let's go look at, so because that was weapon effectiveness, right? So double if you're at half range or less. So this doubled, this doubled, this doubled. So we had 48 and 14, which was 62, and then we get 3 for 65. Then the terrain effects chart is, it's a hilltop. No, did I do that right? He is a high explosive. Oh yeah, so he was, I think I did it wrong last time. So then the terrain effects is a hilltop. So that cuts everything in half. So I think I did that wrong last time. So divided by 2 would be 32. It's still going to be 1 to 2 to 1. Or yeah. So that puts us on the 1 to 2 to 1 with a straight up roll. A 4 is nothing. Mark all these guys fired. And now we can do vehicle movement. And this guy's moving 1 every turn. Oh, but I can do my movement and these guys will be out of there, so I can get another mortar into here for next turn. Okay, so let's do my cat attack. So these guys, if they move 1, they can still cat attack. And then because of the vehicle, I got to get off here, so he's going to move there. This guy's going to move. Oop, didn't mean to grab the whole stack. This guy's going to move here. And then these two these Cossacks are going to jump in there. And then I can go 1, 1.5, and unload him for next turn. And this guy, unless he gets himself in a, as far as I understand, unless he puts himself in a position where he can get shot at, he's not going to be able to do much. What if I came down there? Oops. Oh, you can't do line of sight off of it. Oh, you can. So I could do that. So I could go 1, 2. Oh, I'd be right there. I picked the wrong X. Yeah, they can do that. I'm going to do that because he's not doing anything here. So, oops. 1, 2, 3, and unload him. And then he can start contributing. We got to do something. We got to knock that. This command post has turned out to be way tougher than I thought it'd be. I thought I'd just roll right over him. I guess not. Okay, so all the movement's done. Actually, I should have moved him as a vehicle before all these guys, but we'll just say I did. Instead of moving everybody back and then moving them. All right, so now we got a cat attack. So, weapons effectiveness, He's an armored unit, so it doesn't affect him. But they're going to get halved after everything's done because of the hilltop. And if I'm doing that wrong, somebody let me know. But then we're going to get a -2 on our die roll because of the thing. So let's see what we got for total. We got, I'm just going to do it this way. So 18. And then we got 10. And another 10. And another 8. Oh, my goodness. Divided by 2. That's a 23. So that's going to put us at the 1 to 2. 1 to 2 with a -2. So if we get lucky, we can kill him. Yeah, we didn't get lucky at all, so nothing happened. Okay, and that was my daughter calling, who I forgot that I have to pick up from school because her car's broken down. So I'm going to end this video right here so I don't have to edit, and I will continue from here. But I apologize for that. But I forgot I ran out of time. I spent more time recording because I'm at an hour and a half almost, and I knew I'd have time if I did an hour. So that's my bad. So I'm going to continue from here where we left off when we start over. But I'll end her there, and I'll go get my daughter because right now she's probably going, why is he hanging up on me over and over? I got to get home. All right. Have a good day. Thanks for joining me. Bye.